Now, what is God's divine plan? Number of ministers have come here to tell us different aspects of God's plan. The plan of God. We can quote scriptures about the plans of God and all of that. Plan to prosper us, plan to give us good health, plan to live and not to die. All of that, these are some of the plans of God. And our anchor scripture for this theme is taken from Genesis chapter 1, from verse 1 to the end, the beginning of God's plan. If you read from Genesis chapter 1, from beginning to the end, we saw that it talks about the creation of God from the beginning when God created the heaven and the earth. The earth was without form and void. God, started the creation process. Let there be light, and there was light. Let the light be separated from darkness and all of that. Now, the Bible went further to say in verse 31 of Genesis chapter 1, it says, "Then God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good." I will stop there. God saw everything that he has made, and indeed it was very good. Meaning that all of the creation of God came out good and beautiful. God was satisfied with his work. That is to say, his purpose was fulfilled. Now, let's not mix it up. Preparing for this sermon, I got to discover that purpose and plan, they are quite different, even though they seem similar. Purpose is your actual results. Purpose is your actual intention. Purpose is your actual, desired, what you desire, your desired results. That is what purpose is. Purpose gives birth to plan. Purpose gives birth to plan. Planning is the method with which you arrive at your purpose. I will explain. Now, if you have plans to go to VI, or let's say you have plans to go to Abuja. Let me leave VI. You have plans to go to Abuja. You can either decide to go by air, Abi, or your plan is to go to Abuja, or your desired result is to end in Abuja. How do you get to Abuja? That is where your plan comes about. Is either you decide to go by air, you go by a road. I don't know if you can go by sea. Sister Joy, can we? Now, you can either go by air or by road. Now, if something happens, peradventure, that you're unable to go by air, your plan changes. But it does not mean you will not get to Abuja, which is your purpose. You can get to Abuja by land. If by air something changes, maybe weather and all of that causes you not to be able to travel by air, you can either go by road. But the final result is that you arrive at Abuja. Do we now understand? So purpose gives birth to plan. Plan is just the method, the approach with which you get your desired results. That is what plan is, the method you apply, the way you do it. Oh, I want to live in a 3-bedroom flat. How do I get there? You start planning. You start making arrangements. Oh, if I work for a year, if I save up half of my salary, I should be able to have raised reasonable bedroom flat. Now, God's purpose is for man, is for him to have fellowship with man, as earlier established by previous ministers, to have fellowship, to commune with man on a daily basis. That's his primary purpose for man, to commune with him, to fellowship with him, to discuss with him. If you read down Genesis chapter 1, 2, verse 3, when man was finally created, in the evening, in the morning, at intervals, God came down to discuss with Adam. He wants that fellowship. That was his primary purpose, which he achieved at first. But something happened to it. Something happened to it, which now gave birth to the plan. Something happened to that his purpose, that now gave birth to his plan. Now, what happened to that his purpose? The fall of man. Sin. Sin came in and scattered that purpose. As a result of sin, as a result of the fall of man, God was not able to commune or fellowship with man any longer because he now separated man from himself. And what happened thereafter as a result of that sin or as a result of the fall of man? The fall of man and sin brought about sicknesses. The fall of man and sin brought about what? Shame. It brought about pains. Ordinarily, when man was still fellowshipping with God, when God created Adam and Eve, everything was fine. There was no form of sickness. There was nothing like shame. There was no pains and all of that. There was no death. They were just living and going about their normal life without the fear of the unknown. But as a result of sin came what? Death. Shame. You know, when God called out to Adam, Adam, what have you done? And all of that. Adam's eyes was open as a result of him disobeying God, eating of the forbidden fruit. His eyes was open and he realized that he was naked. Shame came as a result of sin. Pain came as a result of sin. And ultimately, sin brought about death. Now, this made God started thinking of what to do. This was why he started his plan. This was where the plan of God all started, originated from. If you've been the primary plan of God from the fall of man is the redemption plan, reconciliation plan. God still wants that fellowship. God still wants that communion with man. That was the primary plan of God, redemption, reconciliation plan. Now that plan give birth to plan. Plan give birth to plan. If you're planning to go to the island and you discover that Ojo Elegba is blocked, you can either go through Yaba, true or false. Now, you discover that Ojo Elegba road is blocked, it changes your plan. You've given birth to another plan. Oh, since I cannot go through Ojo Elegba, let me go through Yaba. So, plan gives birth to plan. Now, the fall of man now made God to start planning. The plan from inception is redemption plan. How do I get man back to myself? How do I redeem man back to myself? I still long for that fellowship with man. I still long for that communion with man. How do I do that? I need to redeem man back to myself. In Isaiah chapter 59 from verses 1 to 3. Isaiah chapter 59 from verses 1 to 3. Isaiah 59 verses 1 to 3. Media, please help us with that passage. Isaiah 59 from verses 1 to 3. It says, surely the arm of the Lord is not too short to save, nor his ear too dull to hear. It's not that the hand of God is too short to save, nor his ear too between us and God. This was where the redemption plan all started, because sin has separated us from God. In Romans chapter 5, verses 17 to 21. Romans chapter 5, 17 to 21, the redemption plan. Now, we've established in Isaiah chapter 59, 1 to 3, that our sin have separated us from God. In Romans chapter 5, from verses 17 to 21, it says, for if by the trespass of the one, death reigned through that one man, how much more with those who receive God's abundant provision of grace and of the gift of righteousness reign in life through the one man, Jesus Christ. Verse 18. Consequently, just as the result of one trespass was condemnation for all men, so also the result of one act of righteousness was justification that brings life for all men. Please, let's look at the King James Version. Verse 19 now. For as by one man's disobedience many were made sinners, the fall of man, Adam and Eve, so also by one man's obedience many will be made righteous. Who is this man? Now verse 20. For as by one man disobedience, verse 20 please. Moreover, the law entered that the offense might abound. But where sin abounded, grace did much more abound. For as much as there is sin, there is much more grace. Verse 21. Many a times we wonder